The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM. The Living Room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is now 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but those of you who are viewing on WAC 90.1 FM's YouTube channel would be thoroughly disturbed by the coincidence that Ricardo and I happen to at the same time wear the same color, despite getting dressed in two totally separate locations at two totally different times of day.
Yeah, that is about right. But then again, Aaron, tomorrow is also Republic Day.
Good point. That's
right?
a good point.
And TKR won. So I think everybody feeling a little extra.
No. We need to go back in chronological order.
In chronological order. And then go. Anyway, you go ahead, sir.
We have been feeling patriotic since last week, Friday.
We didn't start this thing properly, you know.
Oh, right. First and foremost, let's kick this off as we always do. Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
And secondly, we must say thank you to those that went before us, and we are not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, because we all know, except reiterate, they say it with chest, that Columbus lied, and I need to add to that, we also need to say it with chest and remember that Port of Spain is a city on reclaimed land.
Right.
Because I do think a huge part of our population remembers that.
Okay.
Right? But we also say a pleasant thank you to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, where the P this week stands for.
2 P's, Aaron, like 2 P's in a pod. Public and patriotism. Public patriotism.
I would have said partisan.
Well, you asked me though. I didn't ask you.
Oh, good point. You never asked me, but it's cool. And this is The Living Room with yours truly, Aaron 868. I remind you each and every time that culture is my code. And I sit here alongside my bro. And I say these things very clearly with no fro.
Right.
A lot of flow.
Right.
Always on the go.
Yep, right.
In the know. Whose new nickname is Rondo.
Cool. Yeah. Right. Yeah, all right, Aaron. I look for that. Yeah, this is Ricardo Mitchell, the social sage on the global stage. And for those of you who don't know why Aaron cannot even finish his introduction, it is because I was looking at SWAT the other day, right? I'm not the 1975 version, I'm not the 2003 movie. SWAT, right? The recent SWAT.
The series.
And I realized just how much I look like Shamama. And it's not at all. Like, I don't look like him. I don't look like him at all. Right? So for some reason, when people say how much she resembles somebody, they just think it's plenty. You know what? Sometimes it's a little bit. And it was a little bit. Right? So yeah. That's Aaron has been calling me Rondo. I'm not having it. But yeah, this is living.
I still think that for transparency purposes, a picture should be posted of you in an all-black outfit next to a picture of Shamar Moore in an all-black outfit for us to really see the distinguishable difference in both of your appearances.
Aaron, there's only 7 or 8 things that we have different between us. All right, it's only 7 or 8.
Of 8.
Don't worry yourself.
Yeah. Hey, honestly, that was a really great laugh. It was. I thank you for that, because given the stress of everything that is taking place around us, sometimes it's always good to have a laugh. to remind yourself that yes, serious things are taking place, but there is still some sort of joy that is in life.
You know, Aaron, on that note, I want to bring in something new to the living room, right? A new segment with a new contributor, right? Because it's not just about joy sometimes, you know, it's about being positive and motivation and mindset, right? I want to introduce somebody new to the living room, right? This is Crisha Bowen, somebody I met with an interview recently, and I have a feeling that she could help bring some joy to the people's lives. So our first Republic Day gift.
More than what we bring already?
More than us.
Okay,
so for our first Republic Day gift, we're going to welcome to the living room, Crisha Bowen.
Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room.
Aaron, Crisha, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
Nice to meet you, Crisha.
And we're jumping straight into this thing, right? Because there are a couple things that we have to point out. First and foremost, we did not color coordinate our outfits, right? Aaron and I happen to be in red, and you are wearing black and white with your lovely black and white background. So This is our first Republic Day gift to the nation.
Yes.
Right? We're looking like a fancy flag. Right? And we were just talking about, you know, being able to have a little bit of joy. And I was telling Aaron, it's not just about joy, you know, it's about, you know, positive mindset and motivation and, you know, making the right moves to facilitate this kind of atmosphere and energy.
Yes.
And you came in. So it's like, boom, we are on point. I'm not even cutting any of this out. This is all going straight into the episode.
Wow.
No warm up on thing. That'll tell you, if you get ready, you don't have to stay ready. You have to stay ready. You don't have to
just
get ready.
be ready. Yes.
Yeah, just be ready.
I
Just be
agree.
ready.
I agree. So I do feel the joy. So that's amazing.
Right. And if you see Aaron's face, that is pretty much about 80% of his facial reactions to, you know, whatever this space is. I'm a lot.
Well, it's a living room, which means some people chilling, some people eating, some people watching TV, like different things happen in the living room. So I think he fits in.
Yeah.
Different things from different people. Okay, Rondo?
Listen. All right, so Crisha, we're not on Facebook yet, right, Crisha? That had to change because I did one of my funniest statuses ever. So I was looking at SWAT and realized just how much I look like Shamamo. And it's not at all. Like, it's not at all. Like, it's zero.
So how you got that nickname?
Well, Aaron decided that if I'm a bootleg. Is Timu?
Yeah, Timu. Whoa. I said no. I said no such thing. I will not be publicly quoted saying such a thing. I just said
it's less than zero.
That your resemblance is less than zero.
Yeah, that's how much I look like Shimano. Less than zero. Less than zero. I
Rondo Michelson.
I have it to that. You see how small my jersey is?
That is funny.
I come out for it today. I come out
Oh my
for
gosh,
it.
you're not hilarious.
Yeah, wanna boots there?
Sir, leave my sex life out of this.
Right.
Right. So what I would say? What? Wait, what?
So, Crisha, we are here to talk about motivation and how to keep ourselves motivated, how to keep ourselves wanting to go on in sometimes a climate which is not conducive for positivity. It's sometimes not conducive for even wanting to jump in a car and drive up the highway on a morning. Why are you doing that for?
Mm-hmm.
We know the paycheck is probably the reason. But what doing it for? What really keeps me motivated? And the sad part is there's another part when there's another aspect that there are bosses, supervisors, managers, CEOs that tell you that your salary is motivation enough to do your job.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. We had to call a spade a spade.
Yes.
So talk to us about motivation and why it is something that's important. Why should we try to practice it? Why should we instill it in our daily lives? Make it part of our modus operandi.
Yeah. One of my personal beliefs is if you are not internally managed, you will be externally controlled. So if you don't have an internal management system, then it means that Rondo, what's
No, it's just this is not happening. This is not happening.
it
This
just
is not
means
happening.
everything outside of you will continue to control you and pull your strings. I think we see a society full of people who are not, let me not say full, but there are a large number of people who probably aren't internally managed. So the external controls, which means people have the ability to determine your mood, to determine how you live your life, to determine your desires. And that's just not my personal belief, because though we all live in climates of uncertainty with so many challenges, there are some that are having a different experience even in the said climate just because of their internal management system.
I like that. And
This is why.
I love how you said an internal management system, because it is exactly what it is. If you don't have the ability to manage things, like how Ricardo doesn't have the ability to manage that likeness scale.
Lucky I have all black, you know. I have all black
Right.
somewhere.
We will be
Right.
controlled by wanting to post stati or statuses, likening ourselves to things which we are not akin to.
Exactly my point, right? So you have a lot of people that their strings are just, controlled. It's kind of like a puppet master. And then if this happens, I move this way, where I think you should have, I'm not saying that, airy fairy pie in the sky, that things won't impact us. Of course they will. But when they impact us, what do we do next, right? Mm-hmm. You can either have the challenge of change or the challenge of staying the same. Both are challenges. So you could stay the same or you could decide to change. Some people feel like change is hard, change is tough, but remaining the same is also tough. So I just kind of think of it as, okay, if I'm going to take a challenge, let me take the challenge that's going to put me in a better place, put my life forward. It's going to push me forward, because either way we take it, there's going to be change happening around us. We have to respond to the challenge of change or the challenge of staying the same.
This is why we have Crisha in the living room, right? Crisha, you are crushing it. You are crushing it. Right?
Thanks for having me. The living room is cool.
Now I tell you is like it's a whole thing. And one of the things we do in the living room is we recognize the responsibility we have in this platform to make the space available to others. Right? There are iterations of the show where we do call in. We go into the station and we go live and we take calls on air. Other times we get contributions from different professionals and people within our workspace and our social circles. And other times we just do interviews. Right? This is not just an echo chamber for Aaron and I's opinion, or for our Aaron and mine, Aaron and me's. Anyway, for our opinions.
Yeah.
Right? This is a space where we encourage voices. And I would be honored if you'd consider becoming one of the contributors to this space, because honestly, man, I think we are in a space and in a season where we could do with the encouragement, but we just want to feel better. We want to do better and make things happen for ourselves and for our lives. Yes. So for the people who didn't have the honor of interviewing you before, right, or going through your Instagram page, right, tell us who's Crisha? Who's Crisha?
So I am the person that people come to when they want to learn how to monetize what they know or what they do. So I'm 10 years now, I'm a business coach. So I help people monetize online. I've been able to make my income solely from an online business, which is borderless. So you can be global. I am right here in Trinidad and Tobago and doing everything that I love to do. and helping my clients as well. So I want to dispel the myth that you don't have a voice or you can't start a business or there's no value in you, because that's exactly what I help my clients do. I believe there's something that we all know or something that we all do that could be monetized. So I am an advocate for creating your own stream of income, like a big advocate.
Yeah, that will be saying people. So as the young people let's say about getting the bag and thing, Aaron let's talk about getting the bag.
Securing the bag.
Securing the bag, right?
Yes.
Man, this is I'm glad that we have access to a resource such as yourself. So Republic Day, right? We have all sorts of things going on. We win cricket, right?
Right.
Kishon medal.
Yes.
No, Keyshawn didn't just medal. He won. Jareen medaled.
So Kishon didn't medal.
He won.
So he didn't. It was not gold medal. He win.
Yeah, he did, but there's a significant difference between medaling and winning.
Right. So we have medalists and winners. So you're saying, you know what? You have a deal for this. Today in the day. Today in the day. So we have a lot. Oh, and on the other side of that particular spectrum, we have war of words between our closest geological neighbor, and what I'm saying is there's a lot going on. Yeah, and what Republic Day message would you give to the people, seeing as it's the first time that you in the living room with us, and people going to be asking, where did I get you? How I could contact her? Blah blah blah. What I'm saying is, what's your message for the people?
It goes back to what I started sharing with Aaron, right? Because the significance of being a republic means that you are now self-governed. You don't have to look externally for leadership. It means that the people now have a voice where they can choose their leader. There's an element of freedom. It's the same type of system, I think, that we can translate to our personal lives. And that's the greatest message that I would say today in the living room, is that you have to recognize that you have power to self-govern. I like to call it your MVP. It's a term in sports, most valuable player, and I love sports as well. So I was up last night watching the cricket, but
right. With a long intermission.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna start it.
But you must have a governing statement for your life. I call that the mission. What is the thing that guides you, that you say, you know what? I live by this mission in life. I think we all should have that. It's similar to what we would call a constitution. So what's the constitution of Aaron? What's Ricardo's constitution? What are the things that you live your life by that are value systems? I believe you also need to have a vision, because you need to be projecting where you are going. Sometimes vision might be limited personally, so therefore you go back into the element of control, because the other visionary just puts you into their vision. If you have a personal vision, it means that your life is just going on autopilot. So what's the personal vision? And if you don't have it, then you need to change your exposure, change who you're around. It's easy to get into what we call small talk around Trinidad and Tobago based on current issues or events and things that are going on. But outside of the small talk, what's the talk that you're listening to that's really helping you become better? Yeah, we will listen small talk, we'll vent, we might laugh, we might get upset. We will have all of these emotions. After small talk, what's next?
As
so the vision is an important part. Yeah, the vision is an important part of where am I guiding my life, and then of course purpose. So that's MVP, mission, vision, purpose. These three things I believe that every individual should have, and you should really be making those decisions for yourself. I realized this probably in my early 20s when I started to say, Crisha, what's your definition of success? People said you should go to school, you should get the degrees, you should get the good government job, you should stay there till 60 years, you retire, and then you take a cruise. Like, there's just typical things that we believe because we've been sold. But what is our personal definition of self-governance, what we want for our life? That's a Republic message that I will send, because now Trinidad, as we are, we have that power of choice, that freedom, but we do it based on a vision that someone says, okay, I'm taking you here, I'm gonna take you there. It's the same principle. I want us to now, become that person for your life, become that leader for your life that says, this is where I'm going.
Thank you very much for that first free coaching session. No, I had to call that what it is, because I sit down here and I started thinking to myself, where's my personal mission statement? Where's my personal vision? It put me in a place where I had to dig now, and probably that's my homework for this. I don't want to say for Republic Day, because I thoroughly plan to do absolutely nothing tomorrow. But it put me in a place where now I have to put things into perspective, because you also said something there that I have heard many an elder person in my life say. You work 33 and 30 years or 35 years, you retire and you take a cruise.
Yeah, that's a dream we've been sold.
But there's a younger part of our populace, because I know we do have a lot of time today with this, right, Ricardo? We'll probably have to bring her back for a full episode, or take it in tidbits every other week, or however it goes. Or both. There's a part of our populace that now says, my vision or mission is I work hard for the year and then I reward myself with a cruise or a big vacation every year. So there's a huge shift. The shift is taking place enough. Sometimes slowly, sometimes a little too drastic, but there is a shift taking place.
Yeah.
So what we would suggest to the listeners, both online on the dial 90.1 FM, those who watching after on YouTube, start to make that shift internally.
Just to say this, right? There's nothing wrong with the person who has done that, right? Worked, and that's what they've done. That's their reality. If that is your personal mission, vision, and purpose, what we're saying is we want to stretch a little bit beyond that. And my personal realization was, okay, when I thought about what was my definition of success, I didn't really have a definition. I had what was sold to me based on educational system, environment, things that you would have heard. And I feel that's the case for most of us. Like, we aspire to who we are around, what we've heard, what we've been sold. What about if we could come out of that box a little bit?
Yeah. We wrapping up with this segment, Ricardo, or I have time to just give one anecdote again?
Hey, you drop your anecdote here, and it's so rarely that you have nuggets of wisdom to share with us. It would be remiss of me to deprive the world of it.
There was a time some years ago when I would have broken my pinky finger on my left hand, right? And I went to San Fernando General Hospital. I had to go every week to make sure that the bone, because it was a clean break, so the bone was lining up to line back up properly and everything. And I ran into a gentleman, probably a middle-aged gentleman. And this was 10 years ago, so I would have been probably 15 then, right?
All right, so clearly the truth will not set anybody free today.
Right? So about 10 years ago, and he asked me, what do I do? And I told him by day I'm an accounts clerk. And other than that, I'm a DJ. And he told me that was a weird mix of professions, a weird mix of jobs to do. And I told him, well, the obvious answer, one allows me structure, while the other gives me creativity.
I like
and that's what it is. Don't allow the box of, well, I want to be the, as we say, the LED service of education.
Lawyer, engineer, doctor.
Right? Don't allow that to box you in. You could be a LED, but here what's going on. Your LED could be a little yellow, a little green, a little blue. Because don't ever allow that system to inhibit your creativity.
I'm taking that. Other bulbs bright too, it's not just LED. I like that, Aaron. I like that.
That's how good ones ever so often.
You do, despite my earlier statement.
It was really good. I feel like more conversations like this needs to be held, and giving people access to different schools of thought. You may not agree with them, right? But the thing is exposure. Then you could adopt the principles like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I like that school of thought. Okay, I will adopt that into my life. But if I keep listening to limited conversations, then I don't have that ability to stretch to say, I like this, but I would do it like this. So it's not a right or wrong, or this is the one path. It's an exposure thing. Like, let's broaden the conversation so that we could see, oh, there are other rivers that lead to the same ocean.
And with that being said, what I love too is that the schools are doing what they would call alternative career fairs. But I think we need to change that from alternative career fair and just call it career fair. Or you could have career fair path 1 and path 2.
Traditional. Call them non-traditional.
No, I ain't even calling it alternative or non-traditional. Career fair path, and not path as in PATH. PART. So you can't fit all in on one day. So you have part 1 and then part 2.
Yeah. Because I think there's a concept that only certain professions generate a certain income bracket. So if that is so, then if we change the exposure to say, well, this is not the reality, you could actually do this and generate this. That was kind of how it happened to me. I saw someone doing what I do now, and I was like, wait a minute, you can do something like this. I left a career as an HR professional to be a business coach. Now, somebody might say, huh? But actually, I'm just the HR for people who want to build businesses and to build themselves. So the same skill that I give to organizations is the same skill I give to my customers. So it's HR, but it looks a little bit different. It looks like HR for the individual, how to set up your life, versus HR for a company in terms of performance. Same skill, different outlets. But I only knew that because of exposure.
And that actually ties in perfectly with the other segment that we have that's coming up in a little bit, Ricardo.
That's right.
Because it is not just the human resource, is not just about what the company could get from the people, but you are the human resource for yourself. Yeah. What could you get from you?
Teaching here. Are you a coach too?
I coach. I coach my cricket team I support and my football team I support from my couch at home. That's the kind of coaching I do.
No, but absolutely, it's the same concept we're going back to. Like, the same tools that we use for organizations, for companies, are the same tools that we need to use for ourselves.
Yeah. Well, guys, as we sharing the Republic message today, and we have a couple other contributors as well. But as we go into our next segment, which is human resource, right? Our source for human resource with Ruan Peyson. I want to remind people that in case you missed the living room when it's being broadcasted on Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. on WAC 90.1 FM, where we are culture crazy, you could also go onto DJ Aaron's YouTube channel and pull up the living room playlist. We have over 150 video episodes.
I think we reached more than that, hello.
Right? Yeah, that's why I say over. That's why I said over, though. Anyway, yeah.
I know.
You see what I had to deal with? And
that's my rule in your life. Come on.
I know, right? To develop the patience that the Lord has blessed me with a little bit and say, let me give Aaron that it will multiply. Yes, Aaron, you are a multiplier. Thank you for that. Because my patience. Anyway, let me move on. So we have over 150 episodes that you could listen to, that you could look at. And because we don't just kick and gip, right? We actually push conversation forward. I am grateful for being able to do this, but that's how they could find us, right? Crisha, in case they can't wait for your next visit and or segment in the living room, how could John and Joe and Jane and Javid public find Crisha?
You can find me on Instagram, Crisha, Crisha, like Trisha, but with a C. Sarah Bowen. So I am on Instagram and all social media platforms, but I'll be championing the same message. So you want more of what's in the living room, then you could definitely connect with me online. And I can't wait to come back and share, let's say, coaching session number 2, right?
That's what we're saying. Right? So Crisha, thanks a lot. Happy Republic Day. And we're going to move into human resource with Ruan Peyson, our source for human resource.
Hi everyone, I am Ruan Peyson, HR consultant with C-Suite Professionals Limited, where our motto is People First, Solutions That Last. A couple weeks ago, the show walked you through registering your business in Trinidad. That's step one. But let's be honest, registering is the easy part. The real test is building a business that doesn't mash up because you didn't plan properly for people. People are your greatest asset and your greatest liability. So today, we're breaking down for HR startups. For your very first hire, to NIS, to building systems that save you money and stress. Here's the thing. Your first staff member is you. So make sure after you register that business, you register yourself also as an employee. Your second staff member don't even have to be a human. These days, it could be an AI agent. Picture this, a chatbot answering customer questions at 2 a.m., an AI tool drafting your social media posts, an invoicing bot following up on late payments so you don't have to. These aren't gimmicks, these aren't things that are going to happen in the future, they're happening right now. And most of these tools are free. You know we like a free thing. Or low cost. And they give you back the one thing that every entrepreneur is short on: time. Time you could use to hustle, grow, and get stable before you're ready to pay real salaries. So, step one for new business owners, automate before you hire. Your pockets will thank you. But eventually you will need people. And when that day comes, here's what every startup in Trinidad must get right from day one. Contracts. Don't hire your brethren or your cousin on a word of mouth deal. Every role needs something in writing. Duties, pay, hours, expectations. The other thing is NIS and statutory payments. As soon as you are paying someone over the threshold, you must register with NIB. That's law. If you duck it, the fines and the back payments could sink your young business. And the other thing that you must get right from the start, policies and systems. Whether it's 2 workers or 20 workers, you need clarity on leave, working hours, performance, and payroll. Without that, conflict waiting right around the corner for you. So, I'll give you a little story. One startup had 3 employees, no contracts, because it was their brother, their cousin, and their cousin friend. All of a sudden, the cousin friend get hired and leave the work. Just walk off and then say, oh yeah, the next day when they call him to find out, hey, you're coming? He said, I got a job somewhere else. There was nothing that the business owner could have done because there were no contracts in place. There was no legal recourse. And things started to fall apart because that person was doing a key role. Compare that to another company that I was consulting with who took time to do HR systems early on. And it was no big thing in it. It was simple things like, okay, everybody working from 8 to 4 and you have 1 hour lunch. Simple things like that. They had a lower turnover rate because people knew what was expected of them. And when they started going to financial institutions to get funding, it was a lot easier for them because they already had systems and documentations in place. The difference? One treated HR like a nice to have, like paperwork, and the other treated HR like part of the foundation of the great business that it was building. And Trinidad and Tobago does have opportunity for persons when they're building their business. You're not on your own. There are agencies like NEDCO, Export TT, and the Ministry of Trade and Industry that have grants and support programs for small businesses and entrepreneurs. And believe me, when you go to apply for funding, the ones who look organized, well put together and kit out with proper HR systems and documentation, they get taken more seriously. So, after you register your business, don't jump straight into the sales and the vibes and get all hyped up over it. Build a foundation for people. Automate first. It's pretty easy these days. Hire wisely. Stay compliant. And position yourself to access grants and financing. If you're not sure where to start, reach out to us at C-Suite Professionals. We'll help you set up right from the beginning. And remember, if you can't be good, be careful.
After all that human resource talk, from self to self,
Yeah.
it really have us thinking today. And Ruan continues to bring her perspective, well, her source to the human resource.
Yeah. Giving us the tools that we could use as we flesh out what our personal and professional constitution is going to be.
Mm.
Yeah, and I really like the way that these things are flowing here. This is a nice Republic Day episode for me.
Yeah.
It's a nice Republic Day episode.
You're bringing food for me tomorrow?
You're getting that. The Smash Up open. I sure it have the 3 rolls of Cricks. Right? I see the selling discount cheese. Right? You could get a block of cheese for $15.95. You could get one for $18.95.
I'm okay.
Nope.
All right.
What?
I'm okay.
Nope.
I'm okay.
You sure?
I'm okay. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm good. Yeah.
Because that's vital supplies.
No, I know it is a vital supply, but I think I've had enough of the vital supply in a previous iteration of my life. So I'm trying now to.
Doesn't your professional organizational structure now facilitate the provision of staff meals and that kind of thing?
That's his staff meals and all that. My hearing, yeah.
Asking me about bringing food. You need to ask your CFO.
I think I am the CFO.
You're the CFO?
Yeah,
Right.
I'd ask the GM.
The GM, correct is right. The GM, yes. The SO is GM, but
Yeah, anyway, so guys, we have one more segment to come in with today. But before we get into that segment, we must remind you to always keep it locked to the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM. Karaoke finals is next week, Monday. I must remind you that I was robbed of the opportunity to participate because of my affiliation to the station. I was robbed, and
we were spared.
And Kenny would say we were spared, and I realized that Kenny is rubbing off on you a lot more than I thought. But that's all right.
So great minds think alike.
Great minds think for themselves.
Kenny didn't tell me to say that we spare the people. I thought of that all on my own. What are you telling me?
You know what is the sad part? He would say the exact same thing. Hence I said, he's rubbing off on you a lot more and a lot quickly than I thought.
Or maybe our similarities are becoming more obvious to you because you're the interlap, right? You are the best parts of me and Kenny.
Brother man,
you are in the Venn diagram. Right? That is Kenny and my greatness. This is
your system of likeness right now is so skewed it is not funny.
So wait, what are you trying to say is I resemble Kenny more than I resemble Shemamo?
Say that a little bit to the left there.
No. He's one of the big man.
But really and truly, guys, remember to keep it locked to the True Nation station. We are the home of culture here in Trinidad and Tobago. And next month of October is going to be Calypso History Month.
Ah, boy.
And coincidentally, if you're in UK, it's Black History Month as well.
All right.
Just remember, I'll tell all y'all next week, Tuesday.
All right, cool.
Or the following Tuesday or something. We'll figure out when I'll tell all you how I know about that. But one thing I must say is that we need to stop looking at things, as we said before in tonight's episode, not everything is a silo. Silos need to start to be linked for greatness to happen. Silos also need to start to be linked to realize that everything is intertwined in some way, form, or fashion. Remember that, guys. With that being said, we signing out now and ending with Father, or how are we doing this?
Yeah, I feel so, you know.
All right.
I feel
so. We started this conversation a couple weeks ago, and we are ending it tonight with Father Poyer of the Pointe-à-Pitre Roman Catholic Parish. Right, so we're going to end with that tonight. Mr. Desmond is up next with the big band. As I said, next week, Monday night, we're going on any karaoke.
Right.
Right, I feel I'll try and come down next week, Monday.
It's in the rig, right?
Yes, in the rig on Gulfview, Laramie. The compound with the casino, then they.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we are on Trinities and Directions, the greatest ever, right? So as I always end, I remind you that culture is my code, and I also tell you that love is the currency. So spend some today. Let somebody know you love them, guys.
Yeah. This is Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage. Thank you for joining us in this Republic Day episode where we had a lot of the public involvement. Right, we appreciate you guys for joining us. Remember, our glass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. Right, so Mr. Desmond is up next after this word from Father Curtis. And guys, just remember, it's Republic Day. You know, let's establish some constitutions to advance our self-governance.
And remember, if you have a constitution already, it can be amended.
Hey, we all about our growth mindset.
Keep it locked. Mr. Desmond is up next. Well, after this segment with Father Poyer. And we are joined again this week. Well, 2 weeks in a row, we are blessed not just to have Ricardo here, but also to have Father Poyer back. And Father, we know we asked you the question last week, and we're going to ask you again. How are you?
I feel fine. I have a few gray hairs coming out now. You may not see them very well, but they don't bother me at all. And I have a very positive outlook on life. I seem to be in okay health, and that makes me feel fine. But what I'm really, really happy about is I have the support of so many people in so many ways, you know, during the so many years in Mexico. And now it's over a year now since I'm in Pointe-à-Pitre and back in Trinidad. So I'm trying to reconnect myself with Trinidad and Trinidad life and all that's happening in Trinidad. So there are some very, very great challenges, and I'm going to work at my own pace to try to respond to them.
Now, since you're back in Trinidad, right? Ricardo, answer to this question is going to be doubles or roti. What has been your favorite food since you have been back here?
Well, one of the things I try to do is I try to eat every single food in Trinidad. Somebody gave me dumpling soup with green fig and cashin and all these provisions with pigtail, and that was quite delicious. I hadn't had that in years. You know, besides the normal foods like the curry, the pilau, and the roti and doubles and all those kinds of things, you have all these wide range of foods in Trinidad. So I've been trying to sample everything. I think I like everything.
Okay, I like that answer. Now,
is there any food from Mexico that you miss?
Yes. So there's something here called torta de la barda. All right. So it's a bread like a French bread. And inside of it, you pack all kinds of, you have a few meats in it, you have avocado in it, and you have all kinds of spices in it and so on. And it's really, really delicious. And you eat one of those and that's good enough for you for lunch, right? It is really something that is extremely tasty. Then there's something called mole. So mole in some way, it is like pilau in some way, or stewed chicken rather. Stewed chicken. So this is a mole, but it is made out of different Mexican chilies. That's the spice of it. But even though I use the word chili, it is not that hot as people think. It does have some spice in it. You feel it, but it's extremely, extremely delicious. Then you have the tacos. You know what the tacos, right? It's like a little small fruity roll, and you put all kinds of things in it. And I was even surprised. I remember going to McDonald's once in the United States, in the US in San Antonio. And McDonald's had what is called these little tacos, what they call burritos. Burritos, right? And they call it snack wrap. And it is really like a Mexican taco. And it has all kinds of things in it, right? So one of the differences for me is that, you know, in Trinidad we use roti and products like roti all made of flour. But in Mexico, you know, the tortillas are made of corn. There is flour tortillas as well, and there's also cheese tortillas. So you have that too. But the staple diet of the Mexican is the corn-made tortilla. And that's a very, very different thing from our roti, which is flour-based.
Yeah.
So you see that, and you get accustomed to that taste, the taste of the corn tortilla.
Appreciate that, because now I so torta de la barda.
Exactly. Torta de la barda. Mole.
And mole. Right. So Aaron, I might have to change my answers next time somebody asks about food. You'll see.
We'll see. Now, as three men sitting here, I want to ask you, Father. Let me track back a little bit. As three men sitting here, most times when you go to church, the majority of persons in the church are women. What would you say to men as to why we should become more involved in church?
Okay, now you've been in Pointe-a-Pierre for a while, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I hear. When the refinery was running, it seems as though, from the reports I was given, right? When the refinery was running, there were a lot of men involved in church in Pointe-a-Pierre Parish. Oh, well, people who used to go to the refinery. So it seems as though having a good job and being able to understand the work ethic and the whole scenario, that they were looking for something to combine with their work, which they looked at as their faith. They saw that the faith was a good combination. So I am actually told that the holy hour that you were talking about, for instance, on the Thursdays, I am told that there were quite a few men involved in there, not just women. So I'm surprised at that. Surprised in the sense as in related to what you say. In some other communities, you see mainly women. But here you have a community which is interestingly enough, because of their work situation, the configuration of what it was, unfortunately is no longer there, right? But that history has to be recovered, where you have a lot of people who used to work in the refinery and all the employment that came out around it, all the businesses that came out around it, that they actually look to the church as a support for their faith and for their faith growth. So the idea is that church is not something just for women. It's something for people, for their existence. It's something that it will help you for your work and your work ethic. It's something that could help you to get through some of the difficulties that you might have, the challenges that you might have, work-related and family-related as well. And it is also a way of trying to help you to understand how vices grip you. So Trinidad is not just the only place, right? No, this is all over the world. The biggest income and the biggest supporters of sporting events are alcohol and tobacco. Whenever you have a big sporting event like cricket or soccer or football, the biggest people who support it are people who sell alcohol and who sell tobacco. So what happened is that it has now ingrained in the society that the only way that you can feel good and you can only have a good experience is through those means. And that takes away, in particular, not only men, it also takes away women too, in that particular scenario. But the thing is, it has robbed people, it's a big lie, it has robbed people of the idea that church is just for people who don't want to have fun, that church is a very boring, degrading, insulting, all kinds of things, right? So it has taught them all these lies that people find out. When you go to things like the harvest and some of the events that we just had a family event, and it was really, really great. There were so many men and women and children participating in the event. So that's just to show you that this idea that people have, but unfortunately, that's the reality that we have to face, and that's the challenge, that's what we have to fight against.
So how, I heard you say you had a family event in the parish recently. What else is being done to foster that spirit of fellowship within the parish?
Okay, so the church actually in the world, we have about 200 different ministries. Now, when we talk about ministries, we only talk about people like lectors who read or who serve.
Yeah, the choir and stuff like that.
Exactly. So one of the things we're trying to do, for instance, one of the things that I observed, not only in Pointe-à-Pitre, in some of the other parishes, the people who come up to read are women. So without saying anything and without doing anything else, the message that you are sending to young children, males, is that only women could get up and read. Now, if you were to change that or you were to vary it, and you have men who come up to read and they read well and they proclaim well, then you begin to change that image that it's only women who can read. If in the communion classes all you have a woman catechist, then the children would begin to come to the idea that the only people who could really teach the faith are women. But if you start having a few men involved, which is why the permanent diaconate is also important, if you start having a few men involved in the teaching of the faith, then the children will have a more balanced, right? A much more balanced understanding that both people, both men and women, can be teachers of the faith at church and at home as well, and at school as well. If a child goes to a school from, let's say, I don't know what you in primary school, you used to call it what, grade 1 or first standard or something.
Standard one.
Still call it like, right? But let's suppose a child from ABC right up to standard 5, where they used to take what they call a common entrance. I don't know what they call it now. See or something like that.
Yeah.
Suppose every single form, all you have is a woman teaching. And then you go to secondary school and all the subjects that you have are just women teaching.
Yep.
What is going to happen to the child without you saying it is he's just going to come to the conclusion, the male child is going to come to the conclusion that the only teaching is only for women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So those are things that both church and society and government and so on, we have to break. We have to break that cycle. Right? We have to look for where that occurs, both in church and in different communities, and try to break it. Now, we can't break it all at once, but we're going to have to take steps to change it, as we are trying to do in Pointe-à-Pitre, to vary it and to give a much more balanced idea.
I appreciate that. I love any answer there.
If you want to take the idea further, in the choirs, for instance, many of our choirs are female voices. So a young man going to church, if only you hear high-pitched female voices, let's suppose, right? What he's going to come to the conclusion, or maybe one of the persons is a musician, maybe the musician is a man. So maybe he might come to the conclusion that singing is just for women, and playing the music is a man's job. As might come to that. What if you were to try to vary that and have a few male voices in the choir, and then you could balance it, and then it could be antiphonal, and maybe one of the two other instrumental people could also be women. Then you have a much more balanced idea of what church really is and supposed to be.
So I guess it's about being socialized by what you visualize.
Exactly.
You change what you
visualize. Yes.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man. That's great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, real good with your questions, man, but he better with the answers.
Yeah, but far better. Any more questions, Ricardo? Because I know you have a burning question to ask.
No. I just want to confirm that the family event, that I didn't miss the harvest now. I just want to make sure I didn't miss the harvest. So my burning question is that the harvest is month end.
Yes. What happened, there was a little bit of confusion. The harvest was supposed to be originally on the feast day of St. Peter, right? Which was at the end of June. Because it clashed with another harvest in the southern Barricade. What we had to do was then to move it back to the end of September, and in that way try to avoid any clashes with any other parishes. For the same reason, a parish harvest is not just people in the parish. You try to invite others around you, the other parishes around you, that they could come and express their solidarity with that particular parish. Many people in Pointe-a-Pierre Parish, for instance, when they harvest in any other place, they go to it. Some even go way out of the vicariates and they go as far as Mayaro or wherever it is, and they go and they go to their parish harvest. And that's a great thing. That's a great sharing that we have in the Archdiocese. So we are also hoping that the same thing would happen with us on the 20th, that people from other parishes and all areas would come and join us and be part of this great gathering, this great celebration.
And not just persons from other parishes, even just persons from the community that is Pleasance Park.
Exactly. Because the invitation is an open invitation. There's nothing that says that you have to be a member of church to come to the harvest, right? Anybody at all.
It just occurred to me that there are people who listening to the program and are going to be looking at the replay on DJ Ruan 868 YouTube channel, but they might not be in the country. Do you have a mechanism? For people to contact you if they want to the treasure locally or internationally?
I'm a London treasurer. So the best thing to do is, if there's somebody who wants to contribute directly in that particular way, the best thing to do is to have the person communicate with me directly. So you have my email email address, and that could be published there, I guess, in some caption at the bottom of your program. And you could give my email out. So there are people who could contact me directly by email and ask, hey, how can I help? How can I participate? I would like to donate so and so, and I'll give you all the information that you need in a safe way.
I just want to say thank you very much, Father, for taking the time out of your schedule the last couple of weeks to spend with us inside the living room. It's really been nice having you here, sharing the message, not just the message about the harvest, but also the message about why it's important to get involved in church and what the Catholic Church stands for. Thank you very much, Father. I'll see you on the 28th.